All right, Neil. Penn State loses to Ohio State at the Horseshoe 38-10. Now, this was a game that Penn State was in late in the third quarter, and the offense just couldn't quite get it done, and the defense kind of bends, and all of a sudden Ohio. The game played out pretty much like most people I talked to thought it would. The defense would play well, but just couldn't quite do it the whole four quarters.
Right, and Ohio State just put so much pressure on you as a defense. You know, it's interesting. I was talking to a couple of people after the game. I think it's one of the most competitive 38-10 games you're ever going to see. I mean, Penn State shut out Ohio State in 2 quarters, started pretty well, ran the ball incredibly well, had some things that they can build on in this game. But, I mean, Ohio State out here at night, it's never been an easy place to play, and they have a tremendous team.
What's remarkable to me is Penn State outplayed them in the first quarter, and it's 3-0. Penn
Right.
State outplayed them in the third quarter and won that quarter 7-0, and lost by 28 points. Now, I don't know what in the world Urban Meyer's doing with Cardale Jones. J.T. Barrett, to me, is so much better at running this offense than Cardale Jones. We saw that tonight. Penn State had no answers for J.T. Barrett.
Yeah. I mean, this guy has a lot of different hands he can play. I mean, just think of what Cardale Jones did against the top-notch competition late in the year. Obviously, the big plays from the Penn State perspective, the holding call, wipes out a touchdown and a 10-0 lead. I'm not sitting here saying that Penn State would have won the game, but it would have changed the complexion of the game early. It would have given them a lot more momentum. And, you know, Mike Gesicki just continues to drop balls. So it really could have been 10-0.
It could have been 10-0. Maybe it's a different game. I kind of think Meyer might have gone with Barrett a lot sooner. I think Meyer. I mean, he's still toying around with what he thinks his best team is, and when he knows he's got the better team on a given night, he can stick with Cardale Jones. But let's break this down. It's 24-10, and Penn State's facing 4th and 2 on the Ohio State 13-yard line early in the fourth quarter. Now, Christian Hackenberg didn't even get off a pass. He didn't have a lot of time. Apparently, Saquon Barkley might have been open, and we'll get to Saquon in a minute. But, Christian was 7 of 13 tonight. He didn't even get off a pass on 4th down. I'm just not sure that you can have that from a quarterback on the road.
No. Watching the tape, I mean, he was sacked 5 times. He was banged up. He really, I thought, played pretty courageously. When you look at how he was pretty injured with his back in the first half, and he came out, he stepped into a big throw down the middle to Godwin, and they got back in the game and made it at least a 10-point game. That was a play that I'm sure they'd like to have back. But I think there were times, he only attempted 13 passes. Yeah. But there were also some other times where he passed where you would thought they would have run, given his physical condition, the position on the field, and so I think by and large that he did okay.
I do not. I do not think Christian had a good night tonight. 7 of 13 for 120 yards. 56 of those yards were on one pass, and on 4th down at the 13-yard line, I think you've got to throw the ball in the air. You've got to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, but you look at the pressure that he was under.
Sure.
He has 2 balls dropped that could have been another 60 yards.
That's true.
They obviously were not going to put him in harm's way a whole lot more than they did. They only ran 53 plays. So I don't think he was, and by any means, any reason.
Well, let's go a different way.
That it's this lopsided.
3rd and 2, Saquon Barkley stuffed. He had 194 yards, and the guy had I thought Saquon Barkley was the best player on the field tonight. Do you want to give him the ball on 4th and 2?
I thought that their offensive line blocked for the run better than it has all year. In fact, I wonder if Penn State in their history has ever had a back go for 195 yards and a loss. I would doubt it. I mean, this kid was tremendous.
Against the number 1 team in the country.
Right.
Man.
I mean, so, he gets stuff. Bosa makes a play. There were some big-time players out there tonight, and a lot of them made some really good plays. Fascinating that you could be holding your own and still lose by 28.
Yeah, but again, most people I talked to on my radio show all week, this is kind of what people thought. The defense would keep them in a game, but you knew Ohio State could always be explosive and change it very quickly.
They expect Penn State to run for 200
not at all.
yards
Not that.
and
Not
move
that.
the ball decently.
It was 20. It's 21-10 at the end of the third,
Yeah, I mean,
and all
Penn
of a sudden
State's
you're like,
punting
wow.
is absolutely killing them.
Yeah.
I mean, really, you look at what Ohio State's punter was doing compared to what Penn State was doing. Penn State almost never had a really short field, constantly was being pinned back deep. I mean, it's just, I don't know what they're going to do with their punt. They have a scholarship punter coming in next year. They cannot get this solved.
Well, we'll wrap this up. I
Right.
mean, it's a very it was a competitive game for the most part until you look at the final score. But the bottom line is, and you wrote about this, hey, you got to beat this team. You got to beat this team if you want to win division championships and get in the college football playoff. Urban Meyer is 45-3. Let that sink in. He's 45-3 at Ohio State. You're going to win division titles. You got to beat this team consistently.
Hey, and he's just getting warmed up in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's got JT Barrett for a couple more years.
Yeah,
think about that.
Yeah. They're going to have to figure out a way to stop that better than they did tonight.
Yeah. All right. For Neil Rudel, Corey Geiger from the Horseshoe. Have a good night.